Hey, pretty casual gaming. It's Tehnoobcake, and welcome to episode 18 of the Casualcast. 1 year later from our original Casualcast, which was back then named Pretty Casual Gaming Podcast, which was a less appealing name in truth. As always, with me is Slanderman.
Hello.
That would be our original co-founder of the channel. It was originally just me and him, so this is kind of a big moment for both of us. 1 year old, the channel. But here, celebrating the 1 year anniversary of the channel with us is Logix. Hello. Which, as a fun fact, originally only starred as a guest star in the episode 3 of our Casualcast. Today's Casualcast is pretty much what I said. It is a celebration of 1 year of running the channel from start to now. It actually was the birthday on Wednesday, not today. So that is the one little gripe that I have personally with the podcast itself. So we have named this the Happy Birthday Pretty Casual Gaming. As always, it has took us blood, sweat, and tears of me yelling at my two co-hosts here to do something, but I have absolutely no understanding of what's going on. And those two trying frantically to do it whilst not being able to communicate with each other because I'm too busy talking over them. So I'm sure they both have things to say on that. Logix's face says it all. The silence, silent judgment. During this podcast today, we actually have two videos to show you. One worked on by Slandy, which is a little compilation of greetings of the channel to show how we've grown from where we started to where we are now. And then we also have a little highlights compilation from Logix, which will actually be the premiere of our introduction video to the channel, because Twitch and YouTube obviously have a little thing where they say, do you want this, leave a little video for people to figure out what your channel does whilst you're not online. And so it originally started as me telling Logix to just make a highlights compilation. And with his mastery, he actually produced a piece of video gold, in our opinion, to show people what the channel's about. And I think all three of us are really proud of what Logix did. So I want to say now, thank you for that, Logix.
Yeah, thank you a lot.
The smile of gratitude, superiority.
Well, I'm proud of it.
As you can see, the podcast layout has changed a little. The diamond crystal at the center has completely changed. Logix's work once again, and the gold is also Logix's work. He does all that kind of stuff behind the scenes. But we figured we'd do something special for the anniversary podcast. So this setup, the color scheme at least, is just for this podcast. As of any podcast going onwards, we will be changing it back, not completely back to what it was, because obviously there's a new crystal and stuff like that, but we'll be using back to our original colors. So this is a special anniversary edition of the Casualcast. But so before we actually get into talking about the channel and stuff like that, I would like to show Sandy's video first to kind of show where we came from. So Sandy, if you want to go with that.
Oh, hello YouTube. And this
Hello,
is
PCG
it. This is the
Casuals.
video.
It's Tehnoobcake here.
You
Hello,
have the voice
YouTube.
to
Hi,
sound on.
Casuals. Hello, Pretty Casual
Yes.
Gaming.
Hey, Pretty Casual Gaming. It's Tehnoobcake here.
Hello, PCG Casuals. Hi, Casuals. Hello, Pretty Casual Gaming. Hey, guys. Hello, Pretty Casual Gaming.
Hey, Casuals. It's been a long time. It's Tehnoobcake here.
Live now.
Hey, Casuals. It's Tehnoobcake here.
Hey, you're Pretty Casual Gaming.
Hey, Casuals. Tehnoobcake here.
Hey, Casuals. It's episode 17 of the Casualcast.
Alright, what is up, Casuals?
Hello YouTube.
Hello,
There's
PCG
a little
Casuals. It's
example
Tehnoobcake here.
of how we've grown over the year.
Hello, Pretty Casual Gaming.
Hey, Pretty
so
Casual
let's really
Gaming.
go back to the
It's
original screen
Tehnoobcake
next
here.
time.
Hello, PCG Casuals.
one of the
Hi,
things-
Casuals.
I really bring from that, I couldn't hear it because my setup is still as trash as day one of this channel. Nothing's changed in that part. But one of the things I did note from watching it myself before we actually started streaming is how you can actually hear just in my voice alone how the confidence has changed. Back then I was very, I'm not going to say like worried, but I was really anxious every time I had to do a greeting. a little recording thing between me and Sandy, because obviously most of our things we pre-recorded and then would put up. He'd tell me, yeah, you can start now. Any time from now is good. And then there would be a minute of just me breathing. Whereas now we can just record and we just get straight to it. But there was a whole minute of me breathing before I'd even say hello. Like, it was just that much anxiety. It was you were very I am new to this. Yes. I do want to point out we have been said in our Twitch chat that there was icons covering a video a little bit. Yes, we did try talk about that. Another example, but we're still only a year old, take into account, so we're still baby steps. But there was definitely some technical difficulty that we didn't have enough time to really fix that and sort that out before we went live. So Sandy did his best, Logix did his best, and I sat in a corner telling them to do better. So the epitome of our channel is just me in a corner telling two people who actually know what they're doing with technology to do stuff that I have no clue what's going on. As you saw in that, the original intro was from Sandy. So can you remember what it is you said, Sandy?
What I said?
How you greeted our first video?
No, I'm pretty sure it was very, very new, like to me as well, and I'm pretty sure that's why we flipped over to you instead. Because
the original intro was you saying hello YouTube, and then you explained it, and then you called me Tehnoobcake instead of Tehnoobcake.
Yeah,
and I had to correct you, and I was really annoyed that you didn't know.
And yeah.
Yeah, so that's how that grew. And as Sandy says, I think it was episode 3. It was the first one where I introduced it. And just from then onwards, it became I am the host of this channel.
Yeah, I think we tried it with one episode where I did it as well. Between 6 or 10 or something. And then we agreed, yeah, that you should just continue on.
I have a feeling it was a Resident Evil.
Can't
podcast.
remember. I think it was. I'm not completely sure.
Yeah, I definitely think it was a Resident Evil one, because I said that this is the subject you're more comfortable with, so it makes more sense for you to do that. Yeah, exactly, Pheasant. Ironic. Now, it's been a big week for us, not only just because the channel has been a year old, but because we actually hit 100 followers on Twitch. So thank you to all 100 people who have given us those follows and helped the channel grow to what it is now. Obviously, this is of recording, so if anyone unfollows or adds more follows, it could be a different number by the time the stream's over, for all we know. But that really did mean a lot for us. 100 viewers in 100 followers in 1 year is pretty good, really. But even further when you consider the fact that we actually didn't start on Twitch, which is where we mainly stream from now. The first, I want to say, 8 episodes of our podcast were all pre-recorded and put straight to YouTube. And the channel growth there was nowhere near as fast as it has been on Twitch. But we're definitely happier, I think, with the move to Twitch. The fact that YouTube, the way it was monetized, and just the lack of communication between us as the streamers and you as the viewers, it was not really what we wanted for the channel. And I know Sandy personally has gone through a lot of trying to decide whether he wants to be on YouTube or Twitch over on his own channel. Which brings me to the point that all 3 of us in Pretty Casual Gaming have actually streamed before. We've all had our own little channels. Even Logix had his own channel for a little while. So I wanted to talk to each of us really about what was, what's different about doing your own channel as opposed to doing this joint project. Because obviously the main difference, I'm sure, for Slandy is the fact that he now has to wait for 2 other people to say something yes, okay, before he can do something, whereas on his own channel he can just do whatever the heck he wants and we have no say in that. So I'll go with you first, Sally. How does it feel different between doing your own channel and doing a joint project channel?
One thing is, well, like you said, I kind of have some more freedom on my own channel, where I can do stuff. And with Pretty Casual Gaming, you have to make sure when you go live or you do something that you're not stepping over the others on the channel, because the like, was it 2-3 days ago when I went live, and then an hour after Tehnoobcake, he went live as well. If I wanted to do, if I didn't have my own channel, I couldn't have gone live at that time. So in that sense, it helps a bit on both, and then we can do our best to support each other as well when we end with some raids and hosts and stuff. So in that sense, I do like it.
So how about you, Logics? Because you've actually had two instances of which you have technically been involved in a streamer kind of situation. Because there's the one I'm going to talk about, which is with obviously Tehnoobcake Gaming back in the day. And then you actually had your own channel. So how does this feel different to you, streaming from that own channel to how it is with Pretty Casual Gaming?
It's not bad. As you know, I'm quite sort of ADD when it comes to what I want to do on a particular day. So if that just happens to fall in line with what everybody else is doing, it's pretty good. Like, you know, if you're not feeling like streaming one day and I am, then obviously I can fill in. But other times it's not so good if obviously I'm, you know, out of sync, or if I'm sleeping a lot during the day.
Yes, we've definitely had some of those issues since you joined us.
Yeah. But it helps me quite a bit with my anxiety and, you know, being an introvert, I suppose. It's better, I think, for me streaming with other people, because obviously I don't like to put myself on a schedule at the moment, just because I find that very difficult to maintain. So it's better in that regard as well.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like all of us in Pretty Casual Gaming, like all three of us, have done our best to try and like support the others when they're streaming.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we try and encourage each other a lot. Like, not just that like we go into each other's streams to watch and that lot, but even if we can't make it, we're like, oh, you know, good luck. You know, are you streaming? You know, I hope it's a good stream. Thank you, Cal. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, it's definitely been that situation where we kind of hold each other up, and I think that has been a really big part of what's made Pretty Casual Gaming successful. Wherein Tehnoobcake Gaming obviously was not as successful. Which I actually want to talk about because obviously, as I said just a minute ago, Logic's actually helped me before with streaming with Tehnoobcake Gaming, and that was a complete lesson in what not to do when you want to be a streamer. Pretty Casual Gaming, we just go is much more fluid than when we go live. Obviously, it's been a bit of a problem that sometimes we may go a week where we don't stream, and that is a problem as far as if you're looking at from it as something that you want to grow. Obviously, the more you stream, the more you can attract people. However, it's been much easier because we have all three of us that we can be a little more lenient. And, you know, if you know, obviously there are times where we do take a bit too long of a break. Like, obviously, this is Casualcast episode 18. And if you actually do the math, we should be on a Casualcast episode 26 by now. So we've missed 8 episodes. But we've all, I think, learned from our first experiences in streaming that you do not want to just completely burn yourself into the ground. And that's what me and Logix did with Tehnoobcake Gaming. Logix was my editor for that. Like, he wasn't like a face like he is here in Pretty Casual Gaming. He was just behind the scenes. He helped me do it all. And basically what would happen is we'd spend 2 days and I would just stream straight, and we didn't do Twitch, it wasn't live, we didn't do like a series like we do now. We'd do an episode each time. Like one of the big things with like Haven, for example, which was our first game video, we'll get to that a bit later, but I streamed a game and I went from the start of the game to the end of the game, and we still did that very episodic on Twitch, and I actually learned from that that's not how I want to do it, because it made it take longer and all that kind of stuff. But on Tehnoobcake Gaming, we literally, you know, oh, we'll stream an hour, we'll record an hour of, because we did YouTube, we'll record an hour of Amnesia, and then we'll record an hour of Oddworld New and Tasty, and that's how we were recording, and we did that in one day. Like we just spent a whole day recording a ton of different stuff, and then throw it all at Logic to his computer and be like, oh, you know, edit this. And then, so shit would, you know, we put, I think we had to, we went actually only really did 2 sets of recordings because we recorded so much in one day. But the first recordings we barely finished because we burnt out, and then by the time we got to the second recordings, we were just like, this is not fucking working, and we just gave up on the channel. And there was like I think like half a year's gap between the first recording and the second recording because of just the awful way we streamed it all. And with Pretty Casual Gaming, it's been a lot easier with that because we just record when we want. We have the series, which obviously do end up on YouTube, but then we don't series everything, which I think is way better because it's like, oh, I want to, for Skyrim example, oh, I want to stream some Skyrim. Let's just fucking go live. If people want to come in, they can come in. If people don't come in, that's fine. We can just do some random shit. But then obviously we have the series, which will, you know, we've got a few now. I believe last I estimated we have 60 videos on YouTube, which is pretty cool, really. And so we you know, we try do a bit for YouTube, but also we mainly focus on the Twitch and trying to stream whenever we want. But then there's the other thing that's really helped with this channel is we have 2 editors. They don't actually do the same kind of stuff. It's one of the big things I want to make out. Slandy does a lot of the editing of the videos that end up on YouTube, and Logix does a lot of the editing of the stuff that makes our channel look nice and spicy. So first of all, I want to thank Slandy for a year of editing my YouTube videos, essentially. And then
You're welcome.
I want to thank Logix for, you know, ever since you've come on our podcast, we went from that I've not been funny, but that horrible original setup of a podcast where it's a picture that we had like no rights to, really. But it's just mine and Slandy's camera thrown on, a bit of text saying Pretty Casual Gaming. Like it wasn't a big deal of like, you know, it's not like this where it looks like a fucking podcast. Like it was very amateur hour.
As it was at that time.
How did it feel, Logix, actually having someone to support you with the editing now, though, knowing that you've got Slandy there to lean on?
It's good. It's also good having a PC that can actually do the editing. 'Cause obviously, as you said, when we were doing the previous stuff, I had a crappy desktop PC that was basically a potato, and now I've got something that's pretty beastie in comparison. But yeah, it definitely helps to have someone to say like, we want this, we want that, or yes and no to certain ideas that I have. Because I will just spew out a bunch of ideas and just be like, right, pick one, you know.
And then you got Slandy, who
kind of my whole process.
And then you got Slandy, who actually knows what you're on about. And then you got me, the faces of the channel, but definitely not the brains, because when it comes to the technology, I'm just so like, why are you doing this? Why isn't this working? These 2 can attest. I am just fucking awful in the pre-edit phase of podcasts. The faces say it all. How did it feel for you, Slandy, knowing that you have Logix to lean on?
It feels pretty good, especially with all the designs and stuff, because yeah, like you saw with our first parts of the podcast where it was just smacked all together. Yeah, I don't have the experience for that, so it is good to have someone who can do some more quality editing for scenes and backgrounds and all of that stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like I've made it a little bit more difficult for Slandy in terms of like, you know, all of the setup and stuff, but it is worth it in terms of the quality.
It is worth it in terms of the quality.
And whilst we're on the subject, because obviously this is the admin team, basically, of Pretty Casual Gaming, there's a new kind of ghost admin, I'm going to call them, who's recently come on to helping us. And I just want to thank her because she's helped a lot in the short time she's been a place with us. And that's Solar, who is in the chat. It's Kyo Sonko. We just want to thank you for coming in. You got the bot working wherein it now announces when we've gone live with a YouTube video. And she's going through videos and analyzing funny moments in it so that Logix can do some more highlight clips so that can go to YouTube. So just a big thank you to you, Solar, for the stuff you've done in this time. I'm sure the other two agree with me and will just say thank you.
Yep. Thank
Yes, thank you.
Now, one thing that's really changed as far as Pretty Casual Gaming is concerned is what it is now compared to what it was when me and Sandy first spoke about it. Because me and Sandy would have first spoke about it probably a year and a half ago now. It was back whilst we were still both playing World of Warcraft, but it was kind of just after I quit WoW, I believe.
Yeah, I think a bit after, maybe a month or two.
Now, the funny part about this is that even to this day, me and Slandy have never met in real life. We are purely over the internet friends. And back then, we weren't even like close over the internet friends. It was just we knew each other through WoW. And we spoke about the idea of a podcast. And that is there was nothing else. There was none of the gaming. It was just a podcast. And the original concept of the podcast was just a podcast basically pitting World of Warcraft against Final Fantasy. And how that setup fell apart pretty much instantly. I went to him and went, "Do you want to do this podcast together?" And he was like, "I'm not really sure. Give me some time." Half a year later, I go back to him. "Was you still interested in doing that podcast?" And he goes, "You know what? Fuck it, let's do it." So we go live. Well, not so much live, but recording, because obviously, like I said, back then we did it on YouTube. We go recording, and we're like, we should really do an intro video to at least let people know a little bit about ourselves before we start doing what our original intent was. And that was it. It fell apart. I think we did one podcast, which was MMOs. It wasn't just World of Warcraft versus Final Fantasy. It was MMOs, and that was actually the one that Logix first starred on as a guest. And so we talked about Destiny and WoW and Final Fantasy, and then we've just not fucking touched it since. And despite the fact that Slandy still plays World of Warcraft, we really don't actually touch on World of Warcraft except for when we're shitting on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, one of the biggest influences of this channel has been Final Fantasy because, as we've said, I pretty much act as the host of the channel. I spend the most time streaming and I spend the most time talking when it comes to the podcast, which is why we have the A4 looking crystally themed podcast setup. Obviously, we do try to talk about as much as we can. And that is the thing as well. We originally started the concept of we'll do the podcast about Final Fantasy 14 and World of Warcraft. And then it became we'll talk about gaming. I think it was episode, I want to say either 7 or 8. We decided we'd just have an episode I think it was 8, because I think we agreed it should have been every 8 episodes, and then this completely went out the window again. Every 8 episodes, we decided, you know what, we'll have an episode where we don't talk about games. We'll just talk about something completely unrelated, like health or happiness or, stuff that's going on. We just try to take a break from gaming. And from that point onwards, we decided, you know what, let's just make that the podcast. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's gaming, whether it's like this today, just talking about the channel. The podcast now is our way we can just spend some time together chatting absolute bollocks, because that's what we do in truth. And with the channel, the podcast itself has evolved since then. Because we originally decided that would be every 8 episodes, like I said, and then we were just like, no. And then I think it was episode 13, maybe, we decided to call it the Casualcast, because the Pretty Casual Gaming podcast just felt too much of a mouthful early and not exactly very catchy. Now, obviously, the podcast was the original inception of the channel, and it's something that I think we will probably keep until the day the channel finally shuts down. However, there was one fateful moment that changes the channel forever, and that is when Slandy decided that he would buy me a little something. And he got me, I'm trying to get it on camera, this little thing, which is my PlayStation camera. And that thus started the gaming side of the channel, wherein the first game I decided to stream was Haven. And I actually intend to revisit Haven next year, obviously a year away, for the second anniversary of the channel. A little reminder that the game that started the gaming side was Haven. Now, Haven was a really weird situation for me because it was the first time I was really streaming a game again since Pretty Casual Gaming, and back then I was doing Fallout 4 all the time. I actually had a fairly decent following of people who wanted to watch for Fallout 4. And I was doing survival and people came in and watched that. But now I was streaming Haven and I had to, Fallout 4 I can make exciting quite easily because I'm an idiot and play like a complete trollop head, forget to save half the time and lose half my progress. And the feral ghouls on that game are fucking terrifying. However, Haven was a story-based game and it was a very calmed, kind of slow-paced story-based game. So I had to make this interesting. I will be honest, I struggled. And it's something I still struggle to this day is I'm not very good at talking whilst I'm streaming, like constantly. Logix is very good at it. I'm fucking awful at it. I have been practicing with Skyrim and I think I'm actually doing a lot better now than I was back then. However, as I say, during Haven, I wasn't. So Haven was a really weird game because I hadn't actually played it at that point, and it was a game I was looking forward to playing. But obviously, because I streamed it, it created this little space where I wasn't comfortable streaming it because I didn't feel I was able to make it compelling, but at the same time I was really enjoying the game, but I wasn't enjoying streaming it. And so I actually said at the end of my review of the game is that it's a really fun game, but I regret streaming it. It's actually had some updates now, so I am looking forward to doing the second anniversary revisit of it, because there's a lot now in it that isn't there. That was when I was playing it. And then Sandy had to deal with the fact that I was like, make sure you get the video, we'll put it on YouTube. And this was before we were affiliates, so we could just do this same day if we wanted. And then we decided to start pre-recording a message to say hello, and then pre-recording a message to say goodbye. And so, that started the YouTube side of things. It was actually editing some of the stuff and putting it on YouTube. That's where the idea of the series came from, is the idea that, if you missed it on Twitch, to go catch it on YouTube at a later point. Obviously, eventually we hit the great affiliate status, and that was another big moment for us. I was so happy to get affiliate. Now we could start having channel points, which we ended up calling Trundle Muffins, our favorite little Trundle Muffins. And I believe Logix, you were actually on the channel at this point because I think you designed the Trundle Muffin.
You did.
I did the icons for it, yeah.
Yeah, and then we added Hydrate, and we knew we wanted Hydrate on just because I harassed Slandy with it every time I could on his channel. So we got the Trundle Muffins in, and we started to create some rewards with that. And then we spoke to an artist called Razafael, and she made us some emojis. Now, I think at the time we only had one, and I think it was Noob Cheer. I think that was the first emoji. And then thank you for subbing to us, Slandy. And thank you for the hydrate present.
Yes.
Now, it wasn't long after we got the first emote, which was the new chair, that we went, because at the time we was using a little glowing orb as our Pretty Casual Gaming icon. And that was it. Again, we had no rights to that. So we decided, let's, get an actual icon. And Logix was definitely on the group at this point, because as you can see by the icon in the center of the crystal, it does freeze chibis. And then obviously we've had more emotes since, and now we have 6 emojis, and hopefully in time we'll have more. So that was a good big moment for us. And then come episode, I think this was 7. I think it was just before Logix came to join us. because I think you joined on 8. Episode 7 of the Casualcast, we had Rictator on, which was a huge moment for me because I was a big fan of Rictator at the time. I was watching him on YouTube whenever I could, watching his playthrough of Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers, and I was loving it. And I messaged him on Discord. I joined his Discord, his big Discord. And then I messaged him saying, I know I'm basically a nobody because we were small at this time. I remember it specifically. We had 13 subscribers on YouTube. There was no existence of the Twitch side of things. We were just a YouTube channel. We had 13 subscribers. And I went to Rictator and I was like, I know I'm an absolute nobody. But would you be willing to come on to a podcast with us talking about Final Fantasy 14? And we was talking about Endwalker because it was just after the first FanFest thingy where they announced it, and so we had him on, and that it didn't boom us into like, oh, we've got tons of followers, but it gave us a community where I made a lot of people who now watch us. People like the Devon Aspect, and we've had BK Brawler and other people like that, and they've been really nice. Fredneck Teddy actually came from Rictator's group of circle of watchers, and he cheered us 10,000 bits, which got us our first Twitch payout, which was an amazing moment. So in a year, it really has been crazy, just like how much we've grown. And I'm glad that I found Rictator's community because his community has been really supportive of us. And Devin in particular, he's been a guest on our channel multiple times, which is something I know I want to say before I get into it. Is thank you to all the guests who have been on our channel. Obviously, we talk about Final Fantasy a lot, and we've had other conversations, and that's been really nice. But our guests have been Logix, obviously. But you're now a permanent member, so I don't know if we can really thank you for being a guest. Thank yourself, Logix. Thank yourself for being a guest. We had Surreal Katie, who is an artist. There's been Rictator, obviously. Devon Aspect has been on multiple times, and we're hoping to have him on again. We hope to have Rictator on again at some point, but it's a lot of they're Americans, so it's a lot of trying to get in the timing. And yes, I am not sure you're aware, but I play Final Fantasy. We also wanted to thank Ray Alpha, who has been on a few times. He's not been on as much recently because it's just we've not really had on to ask him for, but we intend to have them on again. And as I say, Devon will hopefully be back for more Realm Revisited. And then obviously another big thing that's changed is that Slandy is now actually streaming on the channel.
What?
So thank you to Slandy for being the longest guest, really, because you just appear for the podcast and nothing else. But now you're an actual member of the channel. So obviously I've just talked my fucking ass off, and this is a joint podcast. So I want to ask Slandy, how do you feel that the Pretty Casual Gaming has changed your life over the last year? How do you feel it's affected your life and helped you grow, or for better or for worse?
Yeah, it made me meet a lot of new people from like your side of Final Fantasy and everything, the community over there. I'm not like the best to jump into voice channels or anything, but I am in the chat and saying hi and stuff at times, and coming with cheeky comments at times as well. But when I look at the channel and stuff, I can see the growth, and it at times it's been slow, and at times it just goes over the edge, and you somehow reach the 100 followers on Twitch, and you are actually thinking how, more or less. So yeah.
There's definitely been some times where we've hit a wall and it's just like, oh, I think the two big ones was 80, and then another big one was just when we hit affiliate 50. We would get a follower and it'd be like, yay, a follower, we're growing. And then we'd look at the channel the next day and it's like 50 followers. It's like, why is someone fucking left? What have we done wrong? and it really does get on you. Like, why are people leaving? Because obviously, you know, it isn't for everyone, but that was just every time it felt like we grew, we just fell back a step. But yeah, we've got a lot bigger than I expected to grow. And like I said, the channel is a year old. However, the Twitch actually isn't. We didn't start until probably, I think it was just after no, it'd be just before I went to Lincoln. So it'd be mid last year.
Yeah.
So we've not actually had the Twitch a year. We've only had the channel, the whole Pretty Casual Gaming concept a year. How about you, Logic? How do you think the channel's helped change you over the last year and help you grow?
Well, it's certainly helping me cope with my depression and anxiety issues. It's given me a bit more stability in my life. And obviously it's given me plenty to work on, which is always good because I need a distraction.
Just you wake up in the morning, you got me going, do this.
Yeah, which sometimes is, you know, a bit of a burden, but other times it's good. I guess it just depends on how I'm doing on the particular day.
For me personally, I think it's definitely helped me grow in the sense that before it, obviously, as I said, I'd started streaming before. I didn't stick to it, and it's kind of not so much by my own choosing, but for my entire adulthood, basically, I feel like I've never made progress. I've never moved forward in my life. You know, I'm 26 now and I'm unemployed and stuff like that. And obviously, like I say, it's not my fault. I have mental issues and I've been through a lot of real life problems that have kind of put my life on pause so many times that it just felt like I'd reached this point where I felt like as an adult, I'd gone past the stage where I could say, oh, you know, I didn't work because blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, no, you're 26 now. People are going to wonder why the fuck you've done nothing with your life. But thanks to Pretty Casual Gaming, I feel like I've done something. Like, obviously, we're not a huge channel. We're not, you know, one of these ones where we're earning millions like some people. But we reached 100 followers. We've achieved a year of streaming. Even if we took breaks, it's still been, we kept some consistency, really. And so for me, it feels like I'm accomplishing stuff now. And it's helped my depression a lot, knowing that I actually have something that I have committed to and I'm still doing, and I have no intentions to stop. I already have plans for our second anniversary freaking stream, and I'm already thinking about plans for the third year. Like I've got so many things in my head that I want to do, and it's trying to get it all out. And sometimes some of them fall through the cracks. I will admit I've had ideas and I just never did them on the channel. But the channel is here and it's here to stay, and I will keep at it for as long as I possibly can. Because, you know, I enjoy sharing my gaming experiences with my friends. I enjoy meeting new people who come in to watch me stream and think, what the fuck is this idiot doing? So we thank the guests. I thank my fellow members of the Pretty Casual Gaming team. I also want to thank everyone who's watching for sticking with me and helping me with my problems. And, you know, as I say, I'm not the best streamer. I don't talk. I could talk like fucking crazy when we're doing the podcast, but by God, you get me on a fucking game and I'm just sitting there silent. So thank you for everyone who's put up with me doing that. We definitely have more plans to do a lot more, and I really hope to do a lot more in the future to keep the channel growing and keep it getting bigger. Maybe make a bit of money off it. I won't lie, that is a positive. But yeah, thank you to everyone. In truth, like you're great. It's always fun when you come in, and I know I can be a little bitch on stream sometimes. But we're going to take a short break here, and then when we're back, we'll continue. So we shall, everyone else, go get a drink for 5 minutes, and we'll be back. Over the break, we went and had something to drink, had something to eat, and Logic's sprinted. So we're getting our exercise even when we're streaming. Now, we showed you earlier a little greetings compilation of you know, the channel, how we've grown in comfort from then to now. And I don't know if I actually forget. It's been like 40 minutes and I've already forgot what I said at the beginning of the video. But there is a highlight compilation that we're going to use, and this basically is the premiere of what will be our Twitch channel introduction video. So, Sandy, if you want to put that on for us.
Hello, YouTube. Yes.
Hello, PCG
I want to
casuals.
thank Logix for working on this whilst, and he did this yesterday in like no time whatsoever, but it's great. So, take it away.
Wait, I know you.
No, you don't.
All right then.
No, come on. No, come on.
Excuse me, sir. Have you heard of our Lord's... Oh! Come on. Boom! Can it do? Oh, I can hear it behind me. Decapitation! Why did his head go? No.
Good stuff.
Hi. Well, at least he was smart of him to do that this time. I hate my life. I hate my life.
Bear ability. Drive by!
Here we are. One sec.
Right, of course.
What the? What? Oh, wait.
All set. Now!
What the? Come I done now?
So yeah, that was our highlights compilation video that will be going
Wait,
to the Twitch
I
and
know.
maybe YouTube intro. I will note that Sandy's face and camera was covering a bit of it, so we will replay that at the end. Just we'll smallen it a little, just so people can watch it again if they want to. Obviously, at that point, you guys can leave the podcast if you don't care, but we will play that again at the end so everyone can get a proper view of it. If not, it will be going live as a little video that you can watch at a later point. I think we have to wait a day, probably. I don't know what the rule is on that, whether that counts as us putting something live from Twitch or not, because we have obviously an agreement.
I don't think so, since it was since it's not the main part of the stream. So,
But yeah, so that will go live at another point. In fact, we'll obviously put it in our Discord so that people can see that if they ever want to watch that again. But yeah, I want to thank Logix for doing that. I think it was really well put together.
it was pretty good.
Especially as Angry Pheasant said, nice cut off at the end there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, there is another thing that I didn't even consider the evolution of this channel. The evolution from when we first started streaming to what it is now. Back then, I'd just wear a really loose top and dressing gown all the fucking time. Whereas now I like my hillbilly chic. So I've evolved in actually wearing proper clothes so I don't look so homeless on stream. And then you got Sandy, who still just wears whatever.
Yeah.
Which is actually, I think, which one would it be? It would be the first podcast we did with Devon. Me and Logics both decided to wear a suit top just to make Sandy look bad. We take clothing here very seriously over at Pretty Casual Gaming. Now, one of the subjects that we wanted to talk about is obviously where the channel is going. We've talked about the year behind us. What are our plans for the year going forward? Because obviously, like I said, the channel doesn't intend to stop. I have plenty of plans, but the fact that I have so many plans means that I'm going to talk after, because we all know I can talk like fucking crazy. I want to take it to Sandy first, because as I say, he's recently joined the channel. So, Sandy, what are your plans for this channel in the next year?
My plans is continuing the Final Fantasy Endwalkers main quest and stuff, and afterwards I'm not completely sure. I've been thinking about doing some since I'm not fully invested in the Realm Reborn storyline. I might try out the New Game Plus story mode there. I think I might do, which will also be on the stream if I do it. So that is my ideas for the future, at least.
And now that we've got you, I definitely will be trying to force you to play more games over here. Obviously, for everyone who doesn't know, Sandy does have his own channel. I will give it. I will, when I can fucking figure out technology, we will do a quick in the chat. Shout out Slanderman. There you go. He's got his own channel. He's been playing Elden Ring recently. He does stream that, but we are going to try get him to play some more games over here. But obviously, he will always have his own channel. It was one of the agreements that we both made pretty early in Pretty Casual Gaming, is that he would keep his own channel. Logics, what would be your plans for the next year with our channel?
I would like to stream more Destiny. I want obviously get the story finished and then just, actually start streaming the things that I do normally sort of throughout the rest of the season. I've considered doing Final Fantasy streams in the future when my character's all, caught up to the current stuff. I'm not entirely sure yet. Still have that Borderlands 3 challenge to do. Still trying to prepare a character for that. And I don't know about the programming streams. I guess that's something that's going to depend on whether or not people want to see those. But other than that, I don't have any other plans at the moment.
They'll come up out of thin air, probably.
They probably will, yeah.
And obviously, one of the things that we all can agree on is that the podcast will continue. I actually do have a plan for next fortnight's podcasts, assuming we have that all ready and sorted. That will be coming out. I'm not going to make the promise that we'll release a podcast every 2 weeks like we originally intended, because it is something that takes a lot more thought than any other piece of content we do. Obviously, speaking for an hour is surprisingly difficult. And so it takes a lot of planning and getting things together. And so I just don't feel that I can make the promise yet. Perhaps one day, once we've got a big enough team behind us, if we ever got big enough, we could do that. But for now, I don't think we have the resources or time frame in which to do such things. So the podcasts will be continuing. Their consistency, however, is what's up in the air. Now, I have multiple plans for the channel, some of which are doable right now with the technology I have at my hand. Because like I've said a few times in the video, the technology I'm using right now is a laptop that can barely run a fucking game on lowest graphics. I'm obviously on my PS4 still with no PS, considering that the PS5 doesn't exist. I'm using a PS4 camera with that, so that's very limiting on what I can do stream-wise. If I ever get the technology, I'd love to do a lot more things. For example, one of the things I was thinking of doing at some point, should I ever get the technology, is doing Final Fantasy 14 lore videos. Because as we all know from the Final Fantasy quiz, but I know my stuff about Final Fantasy 14, and I'm not sure if you're aware of that I played it. But yeah, I'd love to do stuff like that. I'd love to do, stuff that isn't so much direct gameplay gaming, but more me talking about worlds of games and stuff like that. Because it's not just, as much as I play it, it's not just Final Fantasy 14 that I know the universe of, and I love talking about shit like that. So I'd love to do that for more things if I ever get the technology. Now, do I see that being a thing doable in the next year? Well, unless suddenly someone raids us with 10,000 followers and all of them 10,000 followers then press follow and then subscribe and fucking cheer us 10,000 bits, very unlikely I'm going to have the money anytime soon for me to do that. Like I said, I'm employed. What I make is off of my mental benefits and the channel itself, and we are not earning enough. As I said, the money is nice. I won't deny that is a reason that we stream. It's not the reason we stream, but it's not a bad bonus. But as for what is actually doable in the future, I already know what a few of the things I'm definitely going to be doing. Now, I will be taking the next week off of streaming because I plan to get everything to 90 on Final Fantasy 14, and nobody's interested in watching that. Trust me, I'm not interested in doing it. And yeah, so people are definitely not going to be interested in watching it. Now, so that is my focus for next week. But after that, I might actually start streaming some Final Fantasy 14 content again. It's not necessarily just raids, because obviously you guys watched me do raids, but I'm thinking of maybe doing some other stuff. It's unsure yet. I was considering a quotation marks roleplay series for Skyrim, wherein I play a male character and I voice him and try to act as if I'm actually him in that world. And so that could be an interesting thing, perhaps. We would have to see. Obviously, Dragon Quest Builders 2, I started doing a bit of, and I'd love to get back to that. There will obviously always be things that I casually stream, like DayZ, or other things that I might just stream here and there that aren't like a consistent thing. But they will always be around. I'll always have casual streams just when I feel like playing something. One of the big changes we're actually going to make is how me and Slandy work on getting things to YouTube, because the series, as I've been calling them, are one of the biggest problem childs of the structure of our channel at the moment. The amount of, obviously, when it goes there, it doesn't look like there's much done to it. We're not exactly like massively editing them like a lot of people do. However, the way we've been doing it has been causing us issues, in which how Slandy uploads them, how he renders them, because obviously he has a job, he has his own time, and he has his own channel. So to do all that has taken some time, but we think we've designed a way in which we can transfer things from Twitch to YouTube a lot easier. It will be a little less edited, but it will be a lot easier for us to do that. Which means when we're caught up on the current stuff that we need to do, which is he has the final day of Kenna and the Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker story, we will be uploading things more often to YouTube in the series structure, which means I will be doing Catherine more than likely, because that is a game I started a while ago. I was really interested in. I haven't touched it since. I've wanted to, but I know I want to do that on stream. So that is something that I will be doing on stream. Now, when it comes to series, there is a series coming soon that will be coming to the channel, whether Slandy has done the other stuff or not, because Final Fantasy Origins, Strangers of Paradise comes out not next week, but the week after. And I thought it was going to be on a Friday, but it turns out I'm actually getting 3 days early access because I pre-ordered it. So that will be on the Tuesday. I will be streaming that live on Twitch, and that will be going to YouTube. So if you care and you miss it, you can go catch it there. If not, you can come catch me live playing it. I will be playing that until I'm finished. So other things are gonna. I will still have static on 14. So I already know the Tuesday structure on the day it comes out is I will be playing it. I will be coming off it at 6 p.m. my time. I will then be back playing it by 9 p.m. my time. So, and then I'll be playing that until my dinner time, and then I'll be probably turn it off at that. Later in the year, there's a game called Stray coming out, but I don't know the release date, and I know I want that. That's an interesting looking like cyberpunk game where you play as a cat. So what's not to love? There is Hogwarts Legacy, which is a Harry Potter game that I'm really interested in streaming, probably. then the biggest one after that I know for sure is coming out this year is Saints Row. Me and my housemate agreed that we'd have our own saves on that, but we also want to stream some mayhem on the Saints Row re-release model, whatever you want to call it, that's coming out. So that'll be something for later in the year. And there is another game that's name escapes me. There's a game I used to play as a kid called Suikoden, and there's a spiritual successor coming out next year called, I think it's Eludian Chronicles or something like that. It's something with E and then it's Chronicles. And that's called something Chronicles of 100 Heroes or something like that. However, I didn't know they're actually releasing another game that's like a prequel to it this year at some point. I don't know when, but apparently that will also be on PS4. Now, that is something I'll be streaming, and definitely something I'm interested in streaming. Elden Ring, the subject of fucking everyone's mouth right now. I am not playing it right now, and I have no interest to play it right now. I own it, technicality-wise. I could play it. I'm just not interested. And as far as streaming goes, I don't think it's as good an idea as people keep recommending it to me. So please, after this stream, stop recommending me play Elden Ring on stream. Right now, it's so big that as a small-time streamer, I won't draw any attention from it. And obviously, you should play a game because you want to play it, and that's another reason that I'm not playing it right now, because I'm not interested in it right now. I have too many other things on my mind that I want to play. I do want to play it at some time. I have seen Sandy play a bit, and my housemate has shown me bits of it. So I am interested in playing it at some point down the line. If you are interested in watching someone play that kind of game, I will play it, just not anytime soon. Maybe when the fad of it is kind of worn off. Like I say, it's just not an optimal choice for me right now, because if people are going to watch someone play Elden Ring, you can go watch someone who's much more successful, much bigger, has more means to stream it, has better quality of their videos, all stuff like that. So it's no rush, but I will be streaming that at some point if people are interested in that content. Now, as for other games coming out this year, I don't know of any that I can really think of off the top of my head. Obviously, a big change would be if I got really lucky and I managed to get PS5 this year, even though they don't exist. That would open up, not only just open up my games library, but it would also improve how I stream, because from what I've looked at, the PS5 actually has better streaming options, like with how cameras work and stuff like that. So that is something I'm really interested to look at if I ever get one of those consoles, whenever they come into be existing within this realm of reality. So, I have plans for the rest of the year. I every day I look at what I can add to the channel, what more I can add. Sometimes I get too many ideas and some of them kind of lose traction, but there's definitely stuff there. And one of the things that I'm definitely interested in trying to do more of is stuff like the Unrailed stream we did. Not just Unrailed the game, but the way we did that stream. Obviously, I do want to try do some more Unrailed with Slandy and Logix. I think that was a lot of fun. I think it was entertaining for people to watch us absolutely hate each other and ruin our friendship. But I definitely love to get some more cross-platform games that all three of us can just play together as a Pretty Casual Gaming full host channel stream. So if we can get more of them, we will do. But it's really dependent on what's cross-platform, because obviously both of them are PC gamers, and I am a PlayStation gamer. My PC will not run anything like that. So that is the plans I've got for the next year or so. So hopefully we'll see the second anniversary, and you'll all be here for that. Maybe we'll do another podcast for the second anniversary, but I know for a fact that I will definitely be doing a Haven Revisited stream. And my plan for that, because I already have a full plan for that, is not for me to go play Haven and play it from start to finish again. I intend to go back to the game, start a new game, knowing what I know about it from my previous run, and just see how far I can get in the day of it. And that will be on the 2nd of March next year. So obviously no one's going to fucking remember that time, and I hope I fucking remember it myself. Otherwise that would be pretty embarrassing, especially because I've now got video evidence of me saying it will be on the 2nd of March. But yeah, so we definitely have a year lined up of stuff. You don't need to worry about us slowing down. as I have said, my intent is to only stream, however, if I feel like streaming at the time. I will not burn myself out because it will lose out more if I do that. As Logix has said prior, however, I have the luck that Logix is here to stream sometimes if I'm not. And now Slandy's coming to the channel to stream, so that can fill in more time. So filling in time is definitely not the problem now. It's trying to make sure that we all are in the mood and not in the mood at the exact same time so that we're fighting over the channel. Because that has happened. Sometimes we'll both, like me and Logic, for instance, will both be like, "Oh, I really feel like streaming today," and then we talk to each other like, "Oh, yeah, I'm streaming today." I'm like, I was going to stream. Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's one of the downsides of having so many of us.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
One thing I would like to say is that obviously, as the channel is growing and we are wanting to do more things and try more things out, we are of course looking for anyone who's interested to help us with its growth. Now, obviously, we do not earn anything near enough to be giving you a paid place with us. However, if anyone wants to come in and help us with editing our videos or going through our videos to help Logix edit them, that would be great. We obviously appreciate everyone in the Twitch for clipping videos. Like, they actually do a lot for us, more than you realize, as you saw from the compilation clip earlier on. Like, we can use them at a later point for a video of some sort that we can use. So the clips really help. Obviously, it takes us doing something stupid, but you can guarantee that we will do them. We do live up to our channel name more often than not. As far as the podcasts are concerned, we definitely intend to try have more guests on. I intend to reach out to more people. I intend to reach out to people who have already been on before. So hopefully that will keep growing and our whole community will keep growing. So that's pretty much, I think, all I've wanted to say today. All I've remembered that I've wanted to say at least. I don't know if you two have anything to say in regards to the channel.
No, not apart from thanks for being a generous and good host every time, Noob. That honestly, I mean it. Without you, this channel wouldn't have grown this big. Because you are doing the most of the streaming. You are pushing me in the back at every day, more or less. So yeah, thank you for keeping us
Thank
going.
you for,
So,
well, thank you for that. I definitely think that I've come into more confidence in the channel, feeling like I did something. If anyone ever goes back to watch the prior podcasts back in the day, there was definitely a time where I felt like I didn't do anything for the channel, despite the fact that I was planning the podcasts, reaching out to guests to try and get guests on, all that stuff, because I have no technical difficulties. I definitely have technical difficulties. I can't even speak the English fucking language, for Christ's sake. Because I have no technical abilities, I definitely feel sometimes that I let the channel down. But obviously, we have a great team dynamic here that actually works somehow. Sandy and Logix both know what they're doing, and I'm good at the stuff that I do, so we all bring something to the channel. And so I'm thankful for you for saying thank you to me. It is nice to get a bit of, assurance that I'm doing a good job here, because I care about this channel, obviously. But obviously, thank you to both of you for supporting me for the last year, and helping me with getting stuff out that I envision but have no capabilities of actually bringing to life. Is there you wanted to do or say, Logix?
Only thank you to everyone who is here and who sticks around in the streams. Because obviously, having people talking does help.
Definitely. We all know I've made more than one comment in the past. Nobody's talking in the chat.
Yeah. And obviously, thanks to Slandy for actually being able to put up with my weird way of making the podcast work.
we manage. We manage.
It's I know it's stressful at times.
And hopefully by the next podcast we'll be able to have a video in the centre about our faces clipping it.
Yeah.
Now, that leads us on to the point that obviously in a minute we will put the video in again for people to watch. Sandy will make it smaller. However, it's something we've not said on any of our streams in a while, and I thought I should reiterate it because I don't really like saying it because I feel like if you're going to do it without me saying it. But if you haven't already and you are watching the channel, please do give us a follow. It means a lot to us. If you want to keep up on stuff that we're doing, and find out what our plans are and stuff like that, though we don't update it a lot, we are getting better at it. There is our Discord, which will be put into the chat now. And we also do have a YouTube, of which you can catch our series and our podcasts. And as of the moment that Solar and Logic's finished collaborating, we will start to have highlights videos on there. So you can get quick little snippets if you just need something to watch in a day for like 5 minutes, whilst you're brushing your teeth or something. We are trying to get to a point where we move forward with like a social media presence. We do have a Twitter. We haven't really used it over the last year. Come next year, I'm hoping by the time we reach the next anniversary, we are much better at doing stuff like that. That is our biggest problem, I would say, is that we're not great at reaching out to all the platforms that we can. But that's another thing I want to thank Solar for, actually. She's been a big help of trying to push us into having more of a presence, really. So thank you again to Solar, who is our invisible ghost admin right now. But yeah, so thank you to all of the followers, all of the viewers, all the people who come around, all the people who redeem Hydrate at the worst possible fucking time, and all of that. Everyone who has supported the channel for the last year, really, from like the bottom of our hearts, thank you for supporting the channel. And we will let you watch the Twitch clip compilation, and we hope you enjoyed the video.
I know you.
No, you don't.
All right then.
Sandy, make it small.
No, come on. No, come on.
Excuse me, sir. Have you heard of our lost? Oh!
What I have.
No.
Come on. Boom! Can it do? I can hear it behind me. Decapitation! Why did it not go? No.
Good stuff.
Hey. Well, at least he was smart having to do that this time. I hate my life. I hate my life.
Bearability. Drive by!
There we are. One sec. Right, of course. What the? What?
A pleasure to see you.
Oh, wait.
All set. Now!
What the? Come I done now?
So thank you once again to Logic for making that, and thank you everyone for watching. We shall see you all in our next video. Good evening.
Goodbye.